Welcome to today's Innovation Lab. Ignite your spark. What makes an idea truly innovative? We're excited you're here. Nifty is proud to host these sessions for competitors in the World Series of Innovation, helping you level up your ideas and build your real-world solutions to global challenges. Before we get started, please note that today's session isn't designed for direct feedback on your individual ideas. Instead, our speaker will be sharing frameworks and strategies that you can use to evaluate and strengthen your own submission. Today, we're joined by Meshell Baker, the Chief Confidence Igniter. She's a best-selling author, award-winning sales leader, and keynote speaker with 20-plus years of empowering others. Her book, Unstoppable, inspires individuals to grow confidence and realize their potential. As a founder of Meshell Baker Enterprises, she helps leaders and teams build cultures of confidence and courage worldwide. Meshell is recognized by Demandbase as a top woman in sales and featured in major publications. Certified in inclusive leadership and emotional intelligence, she empowers audiences to turn challenges into opportunities. Today, she'll share Ignite Your Spark, what makes an idea truly innovative. Please join me in welcoming Meshell Baker.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Is my mic on? Yes. Okay. All right. So let's get going because I want to be able to have ample time to answer any questions. And this is always fun to talk about innovation. So why innovation matters, because we are in a time where we have more technological advances than we've ever had in humankind. And being innovative, being creative, doing things in a way it fuels growth, it builds adaptability, and you gain the competitive edge. So you're really wanting your business to stand out in an effortless manner. You must be innovative. Otherwise, you are fighting for position in a crowded and noisy market. So today I've created a little acronym, SPARK. You know, I like igniting things. But SPARK is the way that you will be able to check through to evaluate if your ideas is creating a meaningful impact. So S is to solve real problems. P, it possesses originality. A, adds value. R is ready for action. And K, kindles possibility, which basically, you know, all of this means that when people hear your idea, they are leaning in, they're getting excited, and they're asking you questions because they want to know more. So let's go through the acronym. So that solve problem, it means it starts with a real challenge. So each one of these letters, I picked one company, and there are hundreds of companies that fill each of any of these letters, but I picked some of my favorites. Patagonia was the one I picked for Spark. And this is a outdoor apparel company focused on environment and sustainability. So they are really looking at how do we create things that are durable, because fashion is one of the biggest problems with trash, right? So it's clogging a lot of our environment. So they create things that are sustainable and don't add to the problem of fashion. And they extend the product life. So that's different from most companies in this venue, because many companies are just fast fashion. They want things to not last, so you buy more. So think about, what problem are you passionate about solving? You want to have passion because that'll keep you going in the long range. Whenever you're starting a business or a venture, you need that drive, and passion is part of how you ignite that drive. Next company up for possess originality, Lego. I don't know how many of you here had the chance to play with Legos. I always think of Legos now as an adult. It's something you step on and it's painful. And I remember being a kid and loving Legos. It's amazing what how original this idea was. And it breaks away from how it's always been done. It's a physical brick. It's in a digital world, so they have film franchises and video games. You can buy swag and clothing. They have so many toys. they expanded how they use this original idea so that, you know, generation after generation after generation, Legos is still a viable toy for children. So again, it transformed from something single and became something that created this empire that has global impact. So your idea, is this something that can continue, has continuity? So Alibaba, if you're not familiar, they are a global e-commerce and tech platform empowering business. But they created this one part of their platform that has social impact. So they have this poverty alleviation map in an app so that when you're traveling, you can actually go to specific areas where you are to engage with small businesses in rural areas so you can create economic impact. You can use your dollars for good, right? So they're improving lives, right? So who thinks about things like that? Most people want to go to the hot spot and where everyone else is and it's all crowded, but this is your opportunity. They created something that gives an opportunity to go, wow, what if I could travel and go somewhere and change lives, right? If you're going to a rural area, you're doing something that it can incredibly change someone, and you might discover things that are unique and different that you get to take home, or experiences that you wouldn't otherwise have had. So that's a way to add value to not just your bottom line as a company. So it has a dual impact, right? You're impacting these other businesses that would otherwise not have gotten a chance to be visible. So many different ways when you're being innovative. The questions you're asking yourself, you know, is it meaningful? Is it matter? Does it touch real people? So again, we'll go to the next letter. And I'm going to go through this. And again, I want to have as much time to engage with you and answer your questions as possible. Now, everybody knows Johnson & Johnson, right? I always think of, you know, baby powder or baby oil or Q-tips, right? So, but they are actually a healthcare giant. They do so much more than simply just, you know, soothe the bottoms of babies, right? They Tylenol, all kind of things. And they have innovated over the years. So this company is more than, you know, a century old, and they exist because they are constantly investing in their R&D, their research and development. So yeah, it's a global conglomerate and you're one person doing something, but how do you create research and development for yourself is you read books, you listen to podcasts, you attend webinars like this so you constantly learn, right? So I've taught, you know, learn to earn is the way you do it. Many people who struggle are generally not in a space where they're incorporating new ways. Remember, there is no failure. It's only something that you learn how not to do, right? So when you think of it that way, that's what Johnson & Johnson has done. You think that every product or every, because they also do pharmaceuticals and consumables, you think every product, any of these companies I listed were gangbusters? No. Every company that exists now, that has existed for an extended period of time, has had products that failed. But without their willingness to introduce them into the market, they would not still exist. And that's all research and development is your ability to test it, test the waters, right? Beta test it, see if it works. And if it doesn't, always ask, well, what was it that didn't work for you? Why didn't it, you know, give me feedback on why you don't think that's a great idea. And then you go back and you tweak and edit. And if it's something that can't be refined or tweaked, then you move on to something else. Okay. So we will keep going. So, Kate, now everybody knows OpenAI, right? We got AI everywhere. So this is Kindle possibility. So it gives you the business ability, like people get so excited about new apps or new software or new products that allow you to have a scale or to have ease or to be able to do things in a shorter period of time with less effort. And that's what OpenAI is, a transformation of how people have worked and how they learn. It's absolutely amazing when I think about the fact, like, so I'm a Gen X, right? So I'm a little bit older than you guys. And when I grew up, there were payphones, right? and you literally had to go pull up, or you were out, so you had to go find, first you had to have change, and you had to go find this payphone, and then you called, and then you could only talk for so long based on the area code you were calling. The rate of the call was very different. So we have transformed technology, and now we have the ability to move even faster than anybody could conceive back then of what we're able to do. And it using it, yeah, you know, so like when I was telling Cheyenne and Diana that I created this presentation yesterday on Gamma. So I gave a presentation yesterday morning at a conference, and I came in and I had some calls, and then I went and created this because I wouldn't have been able to do that before. I would have needed to have done this well in advance, because it was take me hours to go into a tool like PowerPoint or even Canva and get all the words and type all the things on there. So know that this is just another way to think about, is it kindling possibility? When people hear your idea, can they see the future? So possibility means that they can see the future. They can see that this is something that is going to elevate them and move them beyond their current circumstances. So that's what's a spark. So here is what I will encourage you to do. And you don't have to do all of this, any of this, some of this, whatever. I tell people, I'm not a hard rule person. I just give you suggestions that I encourage you to help you keep moving in the direction of the information you just heard. So turning your spark in an idea. So reflect on your idea. And I'm going to give you a sheet that you guys can actually access. And I believe they will send this to you. So you'll have this presentation access to it as well. So think about the spark, the SPARK, right? It does the idea that you have, does it embody 3 of the elements? And actually, 3 of the elements would be awesome, but if you just have 2, that would be great. So see if it embodies 3 of those elements. And turn to a neighbor. And this is my deflect because I'm generally presenting to a group of people in person. And I think I got stuck on the fact that I had just done a presentation in person. So I'm doing a pair share. But whoever your mentor is, or someone that you're working with, share your idea, right? Describe your idea and see if they get a spark. Do they get excited? Remember, I teach people enthusiasm, that's your energy. It's transferable. If you're not excited, I promise you, no one else is going to be. So you want to see if it sparks an idea as you begin to share it out with other people, and commit to an action to move you forward. Something this week, right? Something today, but you want to keep moving the needle forward on your ideas. It's consistency is actually how people become successful, because they just keep moving forward with their ideas, finding people that are enthusiastic and support them. So I'll be taking questions shortly. So, right, we're wrapping up. Here is the sheet that I don't know if they gave you the link, but again, does it solve a real problem? Does it possess originality? Is it adding value? I always think about, does it add value, right? So, you know, I'm a speaker, I'm a chief confidence igniter. Do I solve a real problem? Yes, I polled the audience, and 80% of the audience felt overwhelmed yesterday when I gave my presentation. Does it possess originality? Yes, I have my own framework, how to wow, HOW to WOW, and I take them through a process. Does it add value? Well, the testimonials said yes. The people who came up to the stage afterwards, the applause. Yes, people felt inspired, encouraged, and empowered. Ready for action. Yes, they had things that they could walk away with and kindle possibility. Absolutely, yes. So I hit all 5 on mine. Again, you can hit 3 or would be the guideline. So just think about, does your idea, what you are delivering, does it fit this profile? So I'm going to stop share, and we will take some questions. Stop share. Yay. And don't be shy. Do we have any questions?
Thank
And
you
if you
for
don't
that,
want to say it
Meshell.
out
That was
loud, type
great.
it in the chat. Some people don't like to get off of mute and speak. Just type it in the chat. and we'll read it out.
Yeah, we have a hand raised.
Oh, there we go.
Hello.
Yes, hey, I can hear you.
Okay, good day. I'm not really sure what your time zone is. And first of all, a lovely presentation. So right now, my question, when someone is starting a business or is building a project, how does one, focus on long-term success rather than instant reward?
So if I hear you correctly, you ask when someone is starting a business, how do they focus on creating long-term success?
Yes, like long-term results rather than instant reward.
So can
Yeah,
you
because
give me an example of how you or what you mean by
yeah,
can you give me an example of each the long-term reward versus something instant? What would that look like?
okay, so what I'm trying to say is like if someone is starting a business now, so they're not really, they just want it all fast. They just want everything to be done without, receiving feedback, like you said, sharing ideas with your mentor and then receiving feedback. They just want everything to be done now rather than staying focused throughout the journey and then getting that longer term success. Because if you start now, keep going with the consistency, at least the results from what you have been building will have a lot of impact and will be sustainable throughout the long term rather than focusing only on what you can get right this instant or in the next 3 months. I don't know if that clarifies it.
Yeah, so well, I'll share with you what I believe I'm hearing you ask. And then if it's not, we can go back and modify the response. Any business that's successful, so long-term success. So the companies that I share with you have all been in existence for at least 2-3 decades, hundreds, right? For some of them. How they exist and think about staying in business for the long haul is they all have a vision. So they have a vision of what business is going to look like. So if you when you write a vision for the length of time you want to be in business. If you believe you're going to be in business for the next 10 years, then you create a 10-year vision, right? And then what is the mission? Like, so the vision is, is the overarching, what you want to create, how you want to impact. And then the mission is like, thinking more about who. So your vision is your why, and then your mission would be your who. So, and then also having accountability. So for example, I'm a small business owner and I work with myself. And so, yes, you want certain, like we need cash flow, you want a client now, right? So you have the ebbs and flows sometime. So how do I stay focused is I always understand that regardless of what's happening now, if I make this short-sighted decision, it's not going to take me somewhere long-term. So you weigh the odds of what is this short-term decision going to do to my long-term goal, my long-term vision. So that's the best way I know is having accountability, that you're checking in with someone regularly. All great business leaders have great business coaches. So anybody, you have mentors within Nifty that I'm certain you can reach out to, but that's the guidance I give you. Did I answer your question? I definitely would say, what is the vision for your long-term success? If you don't have that, then create that. And that'll help you to keep moving in that direction.
All right. Thank you for your answer. That answered it perfectly. And
Yeah.
from what I've gotten, you just said to keep being focused and knowing the reason why you started this business or project in the first place, so that it can have a long lasting impact. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes, exactly. Every successful business that's been around for a long period of time knows their why. And even though every business that's been around for a long term, they've all had financial difficulty, right? Many of them. And, again, this is why I encourage people, if your desires to be an entrepreneur, think about who in your industry you hold and you admire, and go read their autobiography. I promise you, if you admire them, they had a struggle. Nobody became someone that lots of people admire without having a struggle, without having many, many failures. So that will help you to understand that even though you want to make those short-term decisions, you'll understand why it's important to stay on the long-term path.
Okay, we have another question in the chat. How do you properly survey your audience, and how do you find your target audience that best suits a project?
So how do I survey your audience? So wait, so when you say how, are you asking what tools that you use? So I'm a little unclear on when you say how. And then how do you find your target audience that best suits your project? So generally when you're creating a project, it's so when we go back to the Spark, right? So let's see. All right, share that screen. So we go back to the Spark, right? So you'll have this slide and you'll have this presentation. So it is, does it add value, right? So does it solve a real problem? So if you're solving a problem, then it's solving a problem for a specific group of people, right? And that's your audience, right? That's where you want to go. And then is it adding value? So if it's solving a problem, what's the value? So the adding value means that if I solve their problem, what do they receive afterwards? How do they benefit? How are they going to be better after the problem is solved? That's the value that they've received. So I'm hoping I answered that question. If not, please type it in the chat. And then the other part of your question was, I'll stop share so I can get back to chat, was how do you properly survey? I didn't understand. I wasn't clear on what you meant by properly survey. Oh, questions. All right. This is where we talked about, that's why I added OpenAI. So once you know who your ideal client, so once you have a framework of, like, if you took that sheet that I gave you and you filled in who your client was, the problem that you solved. Let me go back through it with the problem that you solved, the originality that has, the value. If you're writing this out, you can type this into ChatGPT, Perplexity, or Claude and ask it to give you survey questions. Ask it to create a survey questionnaire for you. You know, I don't know how long you want it to be, but if you're telling it, give me 5 questions that I can ask this ideal target audience to validate if what I'm creating is actually hitting all of these key areas that you wanted to hit. That's how I create my assessments and surveys.
All right, that's great. That's great advice. Now, how often do you, another question that came in, how often do you revisit Spark for your business?
Oh, often. So so like you guys are going through this program, I go through programs. So I am actually wrapping up. I went through, it's called Goldman Sachs. You know, they're a global financial organization. They have a program called Black Women in Business. And I am completing that program and will be graduating on December 9th. So I'm in the last 2 weeks of curriculum right now in that program, and went through, and it ignited me because I got to take my business through the whole business process, you know, looking at my ideal client profile, going out and interviewing current clients, prior clients, potential clients who didn't say yes, but I had a discovery call with them, right? So I got to look at my operational excellence. So yes, one of the things that successful CEOs and founders do is they constantly learn. Right? When people say it's hard, it's only hard because you haven't learned how. Right? Nothing is hard. Everything is happening for you, and it just requires that you learn something so it stops being a problem, and it's just a process that you now know. You either hire someone to do it or you learn how to do it. There's only 2 options. Otherwise, it stays a problem.
Great, great. We have another question. What techniques must a person adopt to properly promote his or her product in a way that catches the viewer's attention and conveys a full description?
Yes. So I believe, and I don't know what aware, you guys, with the Nifty program has you create these short pitches. So the only thing I can say that would completely answer your question is to create a pitch. And I believe you guys have them do it like 60 seconds. Like one of the things that I am doing is I created a 60-second pitch. I don't know it by heart, so I'm not going to try to recite it. But and they call it the elevator pitch. So being able to succinctly say, you know, who you are, you know, who your ideal client is, what the pain point is you solve, and, you know, let somebody know there's an opportunity to talk to you later, right? So you end it with an approach. That's what many people do. So did I say that? And I'm not certain where they are in the program with Nifty, and I know as someone, so I am on the advisory board for the South here, and the chair of that, and I know we do programs, and all the students who go through our programs create pitches where they can succinctly, quickly, efficiently tell somebody about their project.
I will just add, thank you, Meshell, for answering some of these questions so well. Some of the students here today may not be in a Nifty class and only participating in WSI, which is completely fine. But we do have additional resources for those unfamiliar with, you know, the way Nifty structures an elevator pitch and how to maybe answer this question. So I will definitely include those resources we have in a follow-up email to you all.
Yeah, see, yay. So all of y'all get some goodness. Bonus. Feel like Oprah. One for you, one for you, one for you. Oh, I'm dating myself. Some of these children don't know who Oprah is, Lord.
Okay. Okay. We have one last question here, and I'm going to see if I can do it justice. It's in the chat, and I think it's asking if you have an idea or a business, how do you make it sustainable? Like, how do you keep the idea relevant? How do you get it across to other people? And, you know, how do you reach the most people?
Okay, so I see this is Aisha's question.
Yes.
This is something I've been thinking about for quite some time. It feels like one of the most accessible plans available, one that holds real potential for lasting impact, sustainability, yet I can't help but worry that even if it becomes widely known, people may not fully grasp its significance. Long-term vision, after all, fear. Okay, so one, you either have fear or faith. You can't have both. So you either believe that what you have to offer is going to be sustainable, it's going to be life-changing, it's going to be impactful. This is why I tell you must find a way to go find people in the industry that you want to impact, to go listen to other founders, because founders who made a way to get their product out and that are now impacting massive amounts of people do not speak fear. They believed with every fiber of their being that what they were going to do was going to change lives. So Aisha, you must choose today to either believe and move forward and let no one change your mind. Have the vision. When I told the other young man about the vision, what is the vision of UC? If you believe this is going to change lives and it's going to have the impact that you say it's going to have, then you must have a vision in your mind of what it's going to look like in 10, 20, 30 years. If what I'm hearing is correct, if that's what you hold on to and you keep moving forward regardless, no one succeeds without failure. The more, everyone listening to me understand, the more successful a person is, the more times they fail. The only difference is that really successful people don't give up. They just keep failing and outpacing the success with failures. You can't have incredible success without incredible failure. It's just keep moving forward. Your idea is worthy, it will work, and it will be something that people jump on.
Thank you so much. Thank you all so much today for joining today's Innovation Lab. And Meshell Baker, Thank you. Thank you so much.
My
We hope
pleasure.
this session has sparked new ideas, fresh insights, and the confidence to keep pushing through your innovation and pushing that innovation forward. A quick reminder, final submissions for the World Series of Innovation are due December 12th. For more information, visit innovation.nifty.com or email wsi@nifty.com with any questions you may have. Good luck, innovators. Thank you, Meshell. And we can't wait to see what you create and submit. Have a good afternoon.